Hey everybody, Coach Danny Cahill here. I just wanted to share a video that explains a little bit more about the vertical barrel theory and the approach that I like with regards to the swing. I believe it's the most efficient way to swing a bat. I also believe it gives you the most margin for error. I believe in more of a back to front type swing as opposed to east to west or side to side. I think that when you miss the baseball that's coming in on either side of the baseball, I think that's better than if you miss over the top of it or under it as far as the results. So when you miss using a horizontal bat path and you miss under, that's a pop-up. When your bat is a little bit more vertical or diagonal and you've tilted the rotation or leaned on the plate and rotated through the pitch and you miss, I believe you'll still get some hits to right and left and you'll foul balls off and still have life. So that's kind of the theory behind the whole thing, but I'm gonna let I've brought up some old videos from years ago that I used in the past to teach this, but I feel like bringing them up again is good. So the visuals are great. So let me let this one play for a bit.
If I had to describe it, would be inside-out swing. Try to hit the ball to right center every time. In high school, I was a straight pull. My high school coaches came up to me and said, hey, mixing something to right field. And, I just always try to work on it. When I was a kid, I didn't have any of this stuff. And if I had it, definitely put me a step above a lot of players. Makes you stay on balls longer, keeps your mechanics all in line. Get up to the box, use your hands, and good things will happen.
So what exactly is an inside-out swing, and how can it help you? Let's analyze Mike Trout's hitting mechanics and find out. The key to an inside-out swing is being able to keep your barrel inside your hands until your hands reach the hitting zone. This gives you more bat control in the zone and also puts your bat in a good position to hit hard line drives to all fields. As Mike starts his swing, his barrel is inside. They're to the left of his hands. Notice how his bat barrel stays inside as his hands enter the zone, right about here. At this moment, his hands, elbow, and back hip are all connected and in line, which means he's swinging in sequence. You can also clearly see this when viewing Mike's swing in 3D using the Zep app. His barrel stays inside during the early part of his swing. After staying inside during the first part of his swing, now it's time for Mike to accelerate his barrel into the ball. Zep's vertical angle at impact, which measures the vertical angle of your bat when you hit the ball, is a great indicator to see if you're doing an effective inside-out swing. We measured Mike's vertical bat angle at negative 25 degrees at impact, with his hands slightly above his bat barrel. What makes Mike's swing extra special is that it gets to that negative 25 degree vertical angle before impact and maintains that bat angle through impact.
So this is the position here that gets people fired up when they see it in young hitters. But this is actually the position that most great hitters today get to, who use a more vertical barrel. Miguel Cabrera, Manny Ramirez, Freddie Freeman, Matt Carpenter, these types of hitters, you can see them in this position quite often. And I think this is a great position to be in, honestly. Now, just to clarify, the minus 20 to minus 30 degrees vertical angle at impact, this has a lot to do with pitch location. Okay, now if you look at this ball here, you can see it's below his belt. And he would basically just straighten up for pitches that are a little bit higher than that. In other words, if the ball was up here, he would just straighten there. And if it was lower, he would get even further down. All right, so the angle would be even more. So for me, there's a lot of adjustability in this area right here, okay? To work the top of the zone down or the bottom of the zone up. It doesn't really matter. The adjustability is there. Now you can see how the bat is coming through and what I meant when I said missing side to side. So if he's on this side of the ball, it's going to go this way, okay? If he's on this side of the ball, it's going to go this way. Foul balls or even line drives that are fair. If he was too flat coming through here and he hit the top of the ball this way, that's going to drive the ball down into the ground for a nice easy chopper that's not difficult to field and usually would be out. If he has a flat path and he misses under the ball, that's going to cause the ball to go up in a pop-up fashion, okay? With this, also an easy out. With his current vertical barrel the way that it is, it's almost impossible for him to actually pop a ball up, honestly, with this bat path. And that's the point. Pop-ups are pretty much the worst result next to a strikeout. You know, it's a guaranteed out, pretty much. You know, everybody catches pop-ups for the most part. So, like I said in the beginning of the video, you want to miss better, then you need to have a vertical bat angle. Here's the second video. I think this is like 8 years old or something like that. But it's going to have a... Actually, I think this one's 4 years old. The other one might have been the older one. Anyways, you're going to see vertical bat angles and why, like it says in the paragraph here, many modern hitters use a vertical bat attack angle to hit these days. More and more you'll see hitters try to get behind the ball and extend through the pitch plane with a vertical bat angle, okay? So that looks a little something like this. The word Ferris wheel is used a lot. That was first introduced to me about, I'd say 4 years ago, maybe 4.5 years ago, where one of my guys told me that he wants to see a little bit more Ferris wheel and a little less merry-go-round when it comes to the swing, okay? Another way that it's been described is the upper half of the swing. The upper half of the body is working more in a Ferris wheel type fashion, where the lower half is working more in a merry-go-round fashion. So you put the Ferris wheel on top of the merry-go-round, and that creates a bat path like this. And it helps you stay behind balls. Okay, this is a 440-foot home run the opposite field on a pitch that was in. Okay, you're just not going to do that on an east to west swing that's with a bat that's parallel to the ground. Here's some more examples. Two of my favorites, Trout and Freeman, both vertical swingers. You can see the bat path coming through. I'd say Freddie Freeman is probably the most vertical these days. And he's been one of the best hitters in baseball over the past 5 years. Couple more examples here. Manny and Matt. Great swing paths, both of them. Miguel Cabrera, Joey Votto. I like this one here on the right. You can see that Miguel gets to the exact same position that we were talking about earlier. Okay, this is the same position that Mike Trout was in. This is the same position some of my hitters can get into now as they're older in college. The front shoulder has worked back like this. Front elbow has worked up and out. Everything is being driven by the back. The rear elbow stays bent, okay? And the barrel is diagonal or a little bit more vertical, all right? This allows the ball to get a little bit deeper to contact right before the front foot. It allows you to swing behind the front leg